It's up. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, you see how she tells you good morning there? Boy, Georgia beat the absolute soul out of LSU and wins the 2022 SEC title. Punches their ticket as the #1 seed into the college football playoffs. They'll be playing in the Peach Bowl in Atlanta on New Year's Eve at 8 o'clock against, well, I don't know. Maybe Ohio State, maybe TCU. We'll find out. Maybe Michigan loses tonight. I don't know, and then we'll figure it out. But Michigan's in regardless. But Georgia's going to be the one. The 2, 3, and the 4 is going to be Michigan, TCU, and Ohio State. In what particular order, I don't know, but that's going to be your Final Four. Georgia will be hosting a game at the Peach Bowl, 8 o'clock New Year's Eve. Georgia wins the game 50-30. Shout out to LSU though; they could have rolled over in this game. It was over at halftime. It was what 35-10. Jaden Daniels couldn't go in the second half, got beat up some in the first half, and just wasn't able to go in the second half. Nussmeier comes in, and Nussmeier had a good second half. I mean, I'm not going to make excuses. LSU played a good second half. They threw the ball almost every single down, and Nussmeier had a lot of success throwing the ball, particularly on deep throws. Keely Ringo got burnt several times. Malachi Starks got burnt for a touchdown there where he went for an interception instead of trying to knock the ball down. And LSU played a good second half defensively. Georgia basically did the whole peekaboo keep-away deal in the second half that they love to do anytime they have a significant lead, where they just, go into a turtle shell, basically offensively, vanilla game plan, a lot of running the ball. I don't think Georgia even attempted a pass in the fourth quarter of this game. It was just run, 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 punt, run, 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 punt. Georgia scored, 2 touchdowns in the second half. LSU scored 3. So, hey, LSU, you beat Georgia in the second half. You can probably have that printed up on a banner and fly it up over top of your corn dog stand that you call a stadium there in Baton Rouge. Anyway, there was never a doubt about this game. It was over in the second quarter. But like I said, in all seriousness, I'm not trolling. LSU could have rolled over and died in this game, and they didn't. They fought literally all the way to the end there. They had a turnover at the end. Garrett Nussmeier ended up getting a little beat up there in the fourth quarter. Georgia got some pressure on him. But so shout out to the Corn Dogs. I'm not going to talk a lot of shit here about it. I mean, Georgia was a huge favorite. They were favored by 17. They win by 20, so Georgia covered the spread. There'll probably be a lot of trolls talking about the second half or something, and oh my God, Georgia looked terrible in the second half. I'm not concerned at all. This is just what Georgia does when they get out to these leads. They change things up defensively. They go into more of a conservative defensive approach, trying to force teams to kind of drive down the field, that kind of thing. I'm really not concerned. Well, I won't say I'm not concerned at all. Ringo, some of what Ringo was doing today is concerning. I'm not going to lie. I'm a little bit concerned about him individually, but like as far as like the yards LSU had and all that, I'm not concerned. I mean, if you watch the game, if you've watched Georgia games, or if you watch football in general, when the game is over at halftime, this is just what teams do. LSU was in desperation mode, throwing 20 and 30-yard passes on every play, and they completed a bunch of them. And again, shout out to them for that. They could have given up, and they didn't. As far as that leading to any type of concern that I might have for Georgia, no, I don't. When the game was competitive in the first half, Georgia was up 35-10. That told me everything I needed to know. I do hope Ladd McConkey and Warren McClendon are okay. They both suffered knee injuries towards the end of the first half, and neither one of them played in the second half. And just knowing what I know about Kirby Smart, we're probably never going to know anything about Ladd McConkey or Warren McClendon until Georgia kicks off in the playoffs on New Year's Eve, because they act like every single injury, no matter how serious or minor, is some type of government nuclear secret. Speaking of nuclear secrets, it was good to see A.D. Mitchell get a lot of playing time today in the first quarter, or in the first half, and not just decoy stuff either. He ran some routes. They threw him some passes. He didn't catch any. They threw him one pass there in the end zone. He slipped and fell, so it was good to see him get in. Staquavius is back, which is good to see. Shout out to Staquavius. That's good news. I always want to see Staquavius, not Stetson. And in the first half in particular, we got Staquavius, and that was good. He looked a little shaky to start the third quarter. Georgia had a couple of 3-and-outs there. He had a really bad pass on a hitch route, which is literally the easiest pass in football to throw. He threw it just right at the guy's feet. But Georgia absolutely dominated in this game, and honestly, that's what they should have done. Like I said in the halftime video, Georgia was the best team in the country at the beginning of the season. They were the best team in the country in the middle of the season. They're the best team in the country now. And LSU is a good team. They're not great. And if you've been watching college football for the last few years, you already know there's a big difference in the world of college football between being great and being good, which is why you see so many blowouts in playoff games. A couple of good teams make the playoffs every year, and a couple of great teams make it. And the great teams blow out the good teams. That's what happened today between Georgia and LSU. A full 4 weeks, basically, to go until the playoffs start for Georgia. 28 days, I think, between now and New Year's Eve. So a lot of time to sort of break these games down, look at all the different matchups, talk about them a million different ways, and then we're going to have bowl games to both talk about and watch in the meantime. Coming up at 8 o'clock, of course, we have Clemson and North Carolina and Michigan and Purdue, and I'll be live streaming that on YouTube. So if y'all are going to be watching these primetime games tonight, the ACC Championship game and the Big Ten Championship game, click over to the channel. By the time you're watching this, I'll probably be live with those primetime games. So anyway, shout out again to LSU. Congratulations to my Georgia Bulldogs, the #1 team on the planet. In the playoffs as #1 seed. Peach Bowl, 8 p.m. New Year's Eve. Doesn't matter who we play. Whether it's Ohio State, TCU, or Michigan, doesn't matter to me. Georgia's going to beat whoever they play. They're just the best team. That was the case last year. It made you mad, but it didn't mean it wasn't true. And just because it makes you mad this year doesn't mean it ain't true. Have a great day. And an even better morning, too.